congratulations, even as a freshman. Freshman of the year, that first year, I knew when Casey Evans started playing for the Bulldogs that Georgia was on an upward trajectory.
First serve from Bertucci. And the kill on the outside. That's Erica Staunton.
Yeah, she's really come on here in these last few matches, solidify her starting role there on the left pin. And Tom Black really expects for Staunton to play a big role in trying to score points and terminate the rally with solid kills. And you saw her get off to a good start there with that first swing, wrist away.
Well, she tied a season-high 17 kills on Friday night against South Carolina.
Yeah, they really needed that too. Casey Evans was a little slower to start on Friday. I expect a different Casey Evans, honestly, this afternoon, but Staunton really filled in the gaps and the holes. Looks really, really great on Friday night.
The ace for Bleeker, her 18th ace of the season, and you think serving is going to be paramount today for Georgia, Nikki?
I absolutely do, because for Alabama to side out with any rhythm, they're going to have to get their middles going. But with passes like that are at best one-option passes, it's going to be much easier for Georgia to set up in transition.
A hitting error for Kendall Ray, an early 3-0 lead for the Bulldogs, who defeated Alabama twice last season. One match was 3-2, the other one was a sweep. They're only meeting in 2023. Only 3-0 lead.
There's a better pass. Let's see Alabama trying to force the middle there at that time. Aaliyah Wells behind the setter.
Wells once again off the hands of the block. And Fisher gets the kill, hitting behind the setter, a senior from Fort Mill, South Carolina.
Yeah, a couple of better swings there by Alabama earlier in the rally, both going to Wells. Not able to put the ball away, and Georgia able to come up with a dig well enough to get Sophie Fisher off of 1 foot behind the setter, and she's so effective from any place on the court, but her swing off of 1 foot on the slide is one of her best.
Bleeker serves Schmer. Ray with the tip. And Bleeker flies up to play that. Cox digs the overpass. Nicely saved by Schmer. Here's Ray. And the kill once again for Staunton. Longest rally so far, and it goes to the Bulldogs.
Yeah, Georgia does really a great job pushing tempo, especially if they can handle the dig in transition, and that ball's going out quickly to the outside. Wells tries to get there, but there's still a seam in the block, and Staunton puts it away.
5-0 Bulldog lead early in set one, going on a run behind the serving of Anna Julia Bleeker.
Anna Julia Bleeker's done a great job coming in as a serving specialist, and certainly when you've got Fisher on that front row, you want to maximize point scoring opportunities. Alabama, yeah, good job.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, Alabama did a good job of seeing that hole behind the block and coming up with a kill, so credit Kendall Ray with good court vision there.
And she's a great veteran outside, the senior from Highland Park, Texas, team leader in kills. There's another veteran behind the line, the grad student Aaliyah Wells. And Staunton, once again, she's been hot early.
She's really finding her rhythm. As we said, it's kind of fun to watch her gain confidence and momentum, and I think it's exactly what Georgia needs, another solid pin hitter who can put the ball away. It's exactly what Coach Black is looking for.
Grad transfer from Northeastern, monster numbers there.
Alabama's still struggling to handle that first contact, but look at Kendall Ray going up with that high contact point, utilizing the block, and I mean, that's a big block there. She was going over Sophie Fisher, so well done by Kendall Ray putting that ball away and getting an important side out for Alabama. I think it's going to be important for Alabama, Dave, to keep this set close, not let Georgia run away with it.
Fisher, cross court.
Again, it just looks like money, like it's just a clinic. It's like another day at the office for Fisher.
She leads Georgia with 415 kills coming into today, 130 blocks and 41 aces. And here she is behind the service line.
And as we said before, the nation's leading middle scorer, having a great, great season.
Broward tried to go over with it, but Alabama was ready. Off the hands of the block. That was Gooch. Here's Ray. Fisher. That's backed up by Schmer. Ray once again. And Kendall Ray has been the go-to so far for the Crimson Tide.
Yeah, and a really good rally. Alabama hung in after several good swings by Georgia, able to keep that ball in play in transition and take the swing at the end that scored them the point.
Ray will get a rest. She exits. This is Lily Hopkins in to serve, the freshman from Texas. 12th match of the season. Evans goes line.
Casey Evans said when I talked to her after the match on Friday night that we would see a different Casey Evans. And that sure looked like it. That ball was hit hard down the line. I think Kiefer almost got hit in the keister.
Yeah, absolutely nothing that Callie Kiefer could do about that one as Evans targeted the setter. And a service error, that's the first for the Bulldogs.
Casey Evans going to have a lot of family in this week. Was talking to her dad before the match. He's staying all week in Athens to watch his girl play as many times as possible on her home court. Lots of people back in Athens today for the holidays.
An opportunity here, tips it over the block. Here's Towns.
Georgia in the net that time. Alabama scoring another point, getting within 3, playing a little bit more rhythm than they did those first few serves out.
Victoria Schmer, the senior from Chelsea, Alabama. Evans is denied. A whistle.
At that time, Casey Evans, her foot went all the way under the net, and that's a net violation, primarily for safety.
You mentioned that she didn't like the way she played on Friday night. Nikki, just the pressure of getting to that 2,000-point plateau.
Potentially, sure. I mean, you know, sometimes you just have an off night. I mean, obviously she was still doing well from the service line, and playing all 6 rotations, doing a good job in serve receive. She just was struggling to find it on the offensive front, and just has always had really high expectations of herself. And so I know she was happy to get that really nice kill.
Finding it on the outside was Kaylee Palmer.
Yeah, just a freshman, but going in that sharp cross wrist away inside the block. It's a clean kill from the freshman.
But that's her 100th kill of the season. Evans, that was saved nicely by Hopkins.
It was a beautiful dig.
Another opportunity for Casey Evans. Off of Schmer and out of play.
Yeah, that ball's coming off of Casey Evans' arm hot. I mean, it has some velocity. Schmer definitely sitting in there trying to take it, but that ball dug way out of bounds. Just off the sheer power of Evans' arm.
She's second on the team in kills coming in today, 316, adding to that total. Serves Hopkins. Towns. She'll get the kill off the touch.
Yeah, off of 1 foot. Towns recruited as a middle blocker. Again, that height, 6'6", from Loganville, Georgia. Went off of 1 foot on the slide attack route, even as an opposite. Caught some high hands with a nice swing. Another freshman. Talked before the match about how Alabama has several veterans out here, but then they have several freshmen stepping into the lineup, kind of a changing of the guard.
You always see that with a rebuilding team, right? Because this is year 2 for Coach Reed. She gets her recruits in there. Wells, she's dug out by Evans. Schmer's dig is out of play. Another kill for Staunton. It's been a rough season so far for the Alabama Crimson Tide, 10-16, but they're winless in conference play. And as you mentioned, Nikki, a lot of newcomers, 7 freshmen.
Yeah, you know, they played a relatively close match against Florida in their most recent match got over 20 points in each set. They were swept by Florida, but they've played some good volleyball, but not been able to close any of their conference matches. I know they would like nothing more than for that to change tonight, but as we said at the onset, Georgia really needing all 4 of their remaining conference matches to get the best resume they possibly can going into next Sunday's NCAA selection show.
Started that run on the right foot on Friday night by beating South Carolina. Looking to knock off Alabama today. Free ball and an opportunity here for the Crimson Tide. They go to Wells. Cox keeps it alive.
And that net is really moving, Dave. I don't know if someone was in it and they didn't call it, but that net's still shaking from earlier in the rally.
And how about Blakely on the right side? She gets the kill, the grad student from Detroit, Michigan.
Yeah, just really nicely done. Clara Brower flipping the script. Blockers were leaning a little bit to their right, so she sends it back to Krista Blakely, who had 1 block up.
Nice touch from Kaylee Palmer, the freshman out of Ohio.
Really nice court vision. I mean, saw that Georgia's defense was deep in the court, so just decided to tip it right over. Hits the floor, it counts the same. Doesn't matter how hard it gets there, just that it does.
Second kill for Palmer. Season high is 10. That was against Auburn on October 29th. Once again, it's Blakely on the right side.
Blakely picking up a couple of quick kills there as she subs out and Anna Julia Bleekler comes back in.
The Georgia Bulldogs are 16-11, 1 win away from 500 in SEC play. That key number, Nikki, 50 in the RPI.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, they're fighting not only to get wins and move up in the conference record, but maybe even more importantly to try to improve their RPI as close to 40 or below as possible, which easier said than done. They got this match, of course. Doesn't help them a ton with RPI because Alabama's RPI is.
And you trust your players, right? If you're Tom Black, you saw all the Bulldogs on the floor were signaling touch, turn to coach right away.
I mean, it did look even from that angle like it could have made her left hand fingers move on that left hand. And sure enough, that was the call. So good challenge by Tom Black. Now up by 5 instead of 3 and a little timeout to refocus as well. It's like a double win.
And an ace as Georgia opens up a 15-9 lead here in set 1. We're going to take a timeout. Bulldogs looking good early.
Taking a long, fast approach. Really doing a great job for the Dogs. It's exactly like we said earlier, what they need to kind of balance the pins. It's so strong when Casey Evans is on the front row. To have that balance when Staunton's on the front row is really going to help Georgia as they come down the stretch.
So much experience, that combination of Evans and Staunton.
Yeah, because, you know, she's new to the Bulldogs, but she is a graduate, so she has lots of experience, as you said, transferring in from Northeastern and had a stellar career there. And
over 1,000 kills.
And an opportunity, you know, to come here and play on even a bigger stage and find some success is really great. I mean, she'd love to get back to that NCAA tournament as well. Lots to play for.
She had 14 kills against Georgia last September, so they saw her in person. Knew what she was all about.
She must have liked playing here.
Campbell's rejected. And picking up the kill on the outside, that's Kendall Ray.
Kendall Ray did a good job again, a 2 on the block. She got a little bit of a smaller block out there now with Brower on the right side. Sophie Evans trying to close, but Ray did a nice job of utilizing that block.
Third kill for Ray. There's Fisher.
Yeah, and truly, you know, Chase Campbell just struggling with the tempo of that set behind Brower to Fisher. There's just a hole in the block, and just can't give Sophie Fisher a one-on-one and expect to come out the victor. Fisher's going to make you pay every time.
Yeah, that's her 4th kill. Mentioned earlier, tied a career high with 22 on Friday against South Carolina. Hit .432 against the Gamecocks. And the defense is there. It's Fisher and Evans combining for Georgia.
Yeah, certainly watch.
Home against Mizzou, who's pretty high in that RPI.
Certainly, I mean, that would make it a little more even for sure between Missouri and Georgia, but RPI in the 20s is really solid.
Set was a little low for Campbell.
The same was true for that set to Evans. Both teams still fighting in transition here.
Casey Evans comes in on it, but she runs into Campbell, still gets the kill.
Yeah, that ball, I mean, Campbell was there, but Casey Evans is really firing on all cylinders, just really whacking that ball this afternoon. She just powered that ball through Campbell's block.
Ray uses the block to her advantage.
Yeah, I mean, that's second or third time. I know second by Ray, but I think the left pin on multiple occasions, whether it's been Ray or Palmer, have taken advantage of that short tip off the block. Georgia's likely going to need to adjust just a little bit to make sure they can do a little bit better job picking up those short tips.
Ray was waiting for that overpass, pushed it straight down.
Yeah,
Take another look.
Bailey Evans came flying in there to try to play the ball, but couldn't get her hands up in front of her.
That's the danger zone. And a whistle, and a call that's going to go against Casey Evans.
Yeah, that time they called Casey Evans for a lift. They felt like she threw that ball. You're not allowed to, it's not allowed to rest in your hand at any point in time, and up ref was quick to say no, that's not going to fly.
Alabama within 4, make that 5 on the service error. First service error for the Crimson side. That'll put Sophie Fisher behind the line for Georgia. 41 aces on the season. 4th in the SEC in aces per set. And she'll pick up another.
That ball is so hard to defend. Number one, it's coming from such a high contact point. American standard. We'll see if the selection committee agrees with me on that, but it'd be hard to deny her. She's a really special player, and I think she's got a long career ahead of her. Not just next year at Georgia, but additionally professionally, and maybe even on the national team.
Bulldogs first to 20 here in set 1. A service error. That's their second.
Yeah, I never like talking so kindly about a player. It's almost like as soon as we say just one more thing, then they make an error.
The announcer jinx, huh? You believe in it?
No, not at all, but it seems to happen often. I don't know. But she has been one of Georgia's best servers. And, you know, if you're going to miss, you prefer to miss out than in the net, and that time she did miss in the net. But I have a feeling she may be the one to side out here in a minute. Or Alabama got a pair of errors.
Teams trading service errors. The Bulldogs have 3 aces to go along with their 2 errors. You're going to be an aggressive serving team. That's a ratio that you can live with.
Yeah, you absolutely want to have more aces than errors. So I think so far Coach Black's got to be proud of Georgia's serving. They have put Alabama on their heels multiple times. Alabama's first contact hasn't been amazingly solid over the course of the first set, but it has gotten better as the sets progressed.
Coach Black's team leads by 5 here in set 1. Toya Schmer back to serve, 26 aces on the season. Almost had another one. Said it's pushed out of the back row by Staunton. And check that. Haugen, that's right. Towns rolls it out of play.
Yeah, another good rally, though.
Now Haugen will check out, and Staunton will come back in.
Yeah, Haugen has played a good bit on the front row this year as well. She and Staunton have been trading back and forth in that second outside position, but of late, Staunton has been man in the front, or womaning the front, and Haugen the back. But look at that kill that time. Nice connection from Kiefer to Wells. On the gap set, Cece Gooch just isn't able to get quite over there, and you see the seam between Blakely and Gooch. Wells took advantage.
She's such a weapon out of the middle, and that's why, Nikki, you say that passing's so important, because if they can get the ball to Kiefer in a way that she can set up Wells. She has double-digit kills 10 times this season. She's certainly the go-to when the passing's there.
Yeah, she is, and they will set her when the pass is not as good, but obviously they have more options. They can run the route that they want to route that gives Wells the greatest opportunity to gain the advantage if the pass is good.
Alabama within 4. Staunton's denied.
Nice effort by Bailey Cox to try to cover that ball, but Alabama block getting the best of that.
Golson off the tape. Defense there once again for Alabama. Kiefer will push it out to Palmer. There's Evans with the dig.
Georgia getting lucky that time. I think that ball came out of Clara Brower's hands a bit awkwardly, but ultimately Georgia's in the block. Georgia's in the net.
I get to sit next to number 3 on that list. I get to watch number 5 on that list. Who's having a better Sunday than me?
Yeah, well, my boys say that the points I scored are in the last millennium and they don't count. So it's much more fun to watch today.
Evans punches that over. An opportunity here for Alabama. And it's Wells behind the setter. And don't look now, but Alabama's within 1.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a struggle for Georgia. They really got to dig deep here and execute. I mean, it boils down to execution. Nice serving from Golson to put Alabama in this spot to make a comeback.
Well, the service error ends the run. It was 5 straight points for the Crimson side.
Yeah, not
third
great.
Service error.
Yeah, not great, but really nice serving run from Golson. And if Alabama can side right back out, I mean, they are every bit in this first set.
31 aces on the season for Bailey Cox. That's good for 3rd on the team. Golson has to chase that down. Fisher out of the middle, the dig from Golson. Now it's Palmer. And a hitting error, that one in the tape. Sets up set point for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, really nice defense though from Golson there. To dig that ball out of the middle from Fisher. They just couldn't convert in transition, and now Georgia has that opportunity to finish this out.
Wells keeps Alabama alive here in set 1.
Yeah, but I mean, if Alabama needs someone to take a big swing, Wells is ready to do it. I mean, she definitely is a good at playing under pressure.
4th kill for Aaliyah Wells. Still set point, but the Bulldogs will try to do it on serve receive. Here's Bertucci. Pass is coming over, and it's put away by Wells.
Great celebration there on the sideline by Alabama. Play loose and play free, whereas Georgia has something to lose. I mean, they need this match, and they need the rest of the matches to get into the postseason. So, you know, you've seen Alabama team playing loose and actually gaining some momentum here in set 1.
They're within 1, but it's set point for Georgia. And they'll take the set on a service error. 4th service error for Alabama, and Georgia wins the set 25-23. In this holiday week, Nikki, we're going to take a look at some 5-0 run for Alabama. Came back later in the set. But I mentioned, Nikki, that Alabama's coming off a loss at the hands of Florida. They were swept, but all 3 sets were in the 20s, and here they are playing Georgia tough, 25-23, our first set score.
Yeah, I think that's the hope that Alabama has, is that, you know, we've been playing everybody tough. I mean, we only have to score 1 or 2 more points, make a couple more digs here, another better serve there, a little bit better first contact, another touch on the block. I mean, it is a game of just such slim margins, even, to be honest, from the top team in the SEC to the team that's not at the top of the SEC, because these women know how to play. They're athletic. They've been here before, and everyone wants to win.
There's a double called on the Bulldogs. And the defense from Ray. 2-0 lead for Alabama.
Yeah, really nice block there. Campbell did a good job of closing. And I would say, Dave, like in the, if you're kind of looking at the stats from the first set, I mean, obviously Ray leading Alabama with 6 kills. Wells right behind her with 5. They got good production out of Kaylee Palmer on the left pin. Chase Campbell really didn't get much into the action in set 1. If they can get both of their middles into the action, then that's going to really help them and maybe close the gap. But look at that. Let's take a look at this ball that was kind of almost dunked by Sophie Fisher. That ball's coming from off the court. Like, who hits a set like that? Sophie Fisher just sticks that long arm up there and hooks it down. It's like a hook shot for a kill.
6'5", huge wingspan. It's almost unblockable.
Yeah, and watching that ball come over her shoulder. I mean, she basically had to keep her face away from the net to put that ball away. And then Georgia comes back with another ace.
And it's Bleeker again. She has 3 aces already. We're early in set 2.
That's why they call her a serving specialist. And again, so important for the serve to be taken care of well when Fisher's on the front row.
How about a 4th ace for Anna Julia Bleeker, redshirt freshman from Windermere, Florida. Let's take another look.
That ball just drops. You think it's coming, and all of a sudden it just right to the floor. So important when players really own their role. She gets to come in and serve. And as soon as Georgia loses the serve, she heads back onto the bench. So she wants to be out there as long as possible. But doing a good job for the Dogs this afternoon.
That's what you were looking for from Alabama. They get Campbell involved, and then the whistle was on the Bulldogs, the senior from St. Petersburg, Florida. She leads Alabama in hitting percentage, .338 coming into this match.
I mean, Alabama has a really big front up there right now with Jordan Towns at 6'6", and Chase Campbell at 6'3", and Kendall Ray at 6'3". I mean, that's a big front line.
The tip from Fisher. Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, you don't always have to go through them. You just tip right over them. Schmerer was in a little bit deep on defense, and Fisher saw that. Beautiful court vision. Such a high volleyball IQ that Sophie Fisher has. Easy tip for the kill.
Haugen. Serves Bertucci. Campbell is met at the net. Joust. It's back on Georgia's side. The left hand, that was Towns. Now Campbell.
Yeah, that ball was just grossly mishandled by Bailey Cox on the free ball. I mean, she overpassed a free ball, and Campbell was able to clean that up easily. She wants that ball back. That's just a ball control error.
Mentioned the high hitting percentage for Campbell. She's 8th in the SEC in that category. 3rd on Alabama in total kills. Evans pushes for the back line, but it's long.
Yeah, I didn't have a good angle from here, but I wondered if she had gotten any hands, but it looks like based on Georgia's reaction, she just threw that ball long.
So 1-point lead for Alabama here in set 2.
Nice serve that time.
Now earns a free ball for Alabama. Options for Kiefer. She'll go to Campbell.
That's just what we were talking about earlier. If Alabama can handle the ball either off of first contact from serve or in transition well enough to get Campbell in the offense, I think that will give them the momentum they need to start really believing here.
She just went to the side of the block of Fisher. Better pass this time. Fisher tips it over the block. Evans. Now Palmer. And her attack is wide, a hitting error for the Crimson Tide.
But a really nice adjustment by Schmer. Fisher tried to go with the tip again from that right side, and Schmer was there and handled the ball well. And she's been on her knees a good bit because she's already got some holes in the knees of those long spandex she's wearing. Fisher's been making her work.
A service error that time for Fisher. That's just the third on the Bulldogs to go along with 5 aces. That'll put Victoria Schmer behind the line.
But truth be known here, Dave, Georgia's playing a little bit flat. They're going to need to elevate their play, and they can do that with solid first contacts like that one by Mallory Downing.
Off the hands of the block. That was saved somehow by Downing. Palmer. Palmer tips it over the block, and flying in is Evans. Here's Fisher.
Yeah, having that extra option on the right side from the back row, so important in that play. I mean, you see Casey Evans is out of the attacking route because she had to come clear across the court to play that tip, but Clara Brower had Sophie Fisher option right there behind her. Fisher.
And she's so dynamic. Not a lot of teams have that option to hit from that spot.
Yeah, no, and especially for our middle blocker. I mean, she really just has so much range. Of course, she heads out of the lineup. She plays that one rotation on the back row and then heads out of the lineup. So Georgia doesn't have that same option anymore, so it'll be important for them to find a way to side out with Evans and Gooch and Blakely. Now, Haugen can hit from the back row, but typically Georgia doesn't go to Haugen on the back row as they do to Fisher or Evans.
Golson serves Cox. Alabama steals a point. They go over on the second touch.
Yeah, Leah Wales having fun with that one. That's typically something like a setter dump, but you usually don't see the middle blocker doing the setter dump. I think she even took that with her left hand, so really impressive athletic play by Leah Wells.
3-point lead for Alabama. A one-arm dig from Golson. Another opportunity for Blakely. Golson is there again. That one easy for Cox. Gooch. No touch, and so the point goes to Alabama.
Yeah, I really like Clara Brower trying to get Gooch into the offense, but a little errant swing, and Georgia's going to call a timeout.
So Alabama responding here.
Georgia, and they're scoring points at a higher clip than Georgia for the match. So even though Georgia came away with set 1, Alabama is leading in both of those categories. So Georgia's going to have to find an answer with a serving pass game to start. It certainly helps when Alabama comes out of the timeout and gives them a free side-out opportunity.
It's the 5th service error for Coach Reed's club. There's Casey Evans. Palmer, but first a whistle.
Yeah, I wondered if that one was going to get by. The up ref came out of Kiefer's hand with spin, and typically when that second ball comes out of the setter's hand with any spin, the up ref will blow a quick whistle.
Palmer off the hands of the block. And the kill for Staunton.
It's a really good swing in transition. I mean, dug out by Clara Brower, but of course, if Brower plays the first contact, then Bailey Cox has to step in and set the second ball, and you see she takes that ball over to the left pin behind her back. Staunton did a great job closing it up.
Wells with the finish for Alabama. She picks up her 7th kill.
She now leads all of the Alabama players with 7 kills and is tied with Fisher. So both middle blockers, one for the Dogs, one for the Tide, leading all players in kills, and that's what we expected. We expected Alabama to try to get those middles involved as much as possible, and if they could do it, they would be competitive here this afternoon.
So we get a point off the serve now. Bertucci.
You look at Wells and Fisher's stat lines, and they're identical. 7 kills, 0 errors, 13 attempts, both hitting .538.
You have to think, if you're a player like Leah Wells, you're fired up for a matchup like this because you're on a team that hasn't won a match in the SEC. It's a very talented player, but she's obviously not getting the attention, whereas someone like Fisher's getting all the attention. And
yeah, and you get to match up against the best, and you love to do that as an athlete, you know. Wells showing that she's so athletic, and likely is another one of the athletes that we see on the floor today that'll continue her career professionally. I was talking to Casey Evans last night, and she plans to play professionally after this season as well. So there's a lot of talent on both sides of the court this afternoon.
Cox serves Golson. Wells flying up to play that is Cox. Free ball opportunity for the Crimson Tide. Ray is blocked.
Yeah, that was a great ball out to the left pin. I mean, Kiefer pushed the tempo, but Sophie Fisher so fast to out there close that block. Watch this movement. And Krista Blakely did a great job knowing that Sophie Fisher might be a little bit late reaching back into that seam. Really well done by Blakely.
Here's Ray off the block and out of play.
But Alabama really doing a good job of managing tempo and rhythm, keeping that 2 3-point lead here into the middle part of the second set.
14 aces in the season for Aaliyah Wells. She serves Evans. And stealing a point for Georgia, that's Clara Brower.
Yeah, so well said, Dave. I mean, no coach wants to see a setter that's on the back row put a ball down in the middle of the floor. I mean, that's kind of a lack of focus from the Crimson Tide, but Brower's so deceptive. Can't always tell where she's going to go with the ball.
She was very good on Friday against South Carolina. 47 assists, 9 digs, 3 aces. Great stat line for Brower.
Yeah, I mean, and that's saying a lot given that Georgia was really struggling from the attacking line. I mean, one of their not stellar performances with so many errors, but she's been so consistent and such a stalwart. I mean, just even Steven out there and competing on every single point. Not needing much credit, but deserving a lot of it.
Campbell pushes for the line, but she won't find it.
And we've talked about how Brower is, as a setter, playing a 5'1", a little undersized at 5'9", but she plays with a lot of heart. She is super quick. She's worked so hard on her vertical jump, and she spends time outside of practice working on attacking and blocking, because she wants to be out there all the time.
Diving attempt from Evans. The point will go to Alabama. Both these setters a little undersized running the 5'1", because Kiefer, who's only a freshman, she goes 5'10". Brower goes, excuse me, as you mentioned, 5'9".
Yeah, and anytime a freshman is, running the offense in all 6 rotations, that's something to definitely remark about, because it's hard to come in as a freshman in the SEC and make a big difference, play 6 rotations.
Free ball opportunity here for Georgia. Options for Brower. She'll push it out to Staunton. Ray, another tip. Oh, that was saved somehow by Downing. And a hitting error from Kendall Ray.
Yeah, I really think that ball is going to be challenged. The line judge is kind of putting his flag down as if the ball hit the floor, and that was right in front of us, and it didn't look coming from. So regardless, Georgia keeps the point, and it's an important one.
Tied at 15. Ray. Now Evans, tough angle. and she delivers.
Yeah, you know, that ball was set so high across the court that the Alabama block was up early. And so they were on their way down by the time Evans attacked that ball. And when you're on your way down, your block just gets weaker. So Evans had the upper hand there.
Towns off the hands of the block. She'll pick up the kill.
Yeah, but again, Recruit is a middle 6'6" stature, but playing opposite, and her primary attacking route over there is off of 1 foot.
Yeah, she's seen a lot of action of late. Played a couple of sets in the opener, the season opener to Jordan Towns, and then no action until October 18th. That was at South Carolina, but 7 matches since. And the response from Sophie Fisher.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Georgia does have a big line that they got to block up against right now with Palmer and Campbell and Towns, but the tempo of that ball behind the setter was so quick that Fisher only had 1 block to beat.
She serves Palmer, who gets the return set, has to come in on it, and her attempt is wide.
Yeah, I mean, Palmer took a great approach and a big swing, but she just swung wide there. Again, another freshman. So you have kind of a tension of opposites on the Tide roster with a bunch of ahead of her here. Alabama, of course, having some more matches ahead of them as well, so have to believe that she'll hit that milestone, and I hope that is the case for her.
For a young rebuilding team, it's great for Coach Reed to have players like Kendall Ray and Aaliyah Wells. I remember asking Coach Reed about them earlier this season, so Wells is more of a vocal leader while Ray leads a little more by example. You see the hitting percentages drop for both teams here in set 2.
Yeah, but that tagline there, Alabama 0 and 16 when their hitting percentages below their opponent. Early in the second set, that was not the case, but Georgia started to come on. Alabama slowing down just a little bit. But another hitting error there for Georgia as Fisher swings one into the net from the back row.
So here's Victoria Schmer. Double-digit digs in 10 of her last 12 matches.
And that was a freight train of a serve. It just headed out the inline. It just got going and kept going and sailed out the inline.
Now serving, Clara Brower.
6 service errors now for Alabama. Here's Brower. Off the hands of the block. That was Greinowitz on the attack from Alabama. She's got another opportunity. She pushes it over. Fisher. Good luck stopping that. Now check that, that was Gooch.
Yeah, but it did look like a Fisher swing though. Nice swing, nice connection there from the freshman. 20. Alabama really needing to get a good first contact and a first ball side out here and try to get some more points on the board.
Towns dug out by Brower. So Cox sets up Evans.
Aaliyah Wells, and just looking at her face, I mean, she just was like, whew. Like she's like, how did that even happen? Like I was there. That ball was hit clearly inside the seam of the block and straight down by Evans.
Almost an ace for Brower. Greinowitz, that's long.
Wells stepped in to play that second ball. Greinowitz just took a pretty errant swing.
Greinowitz is a player who played a lot early in the season. Then really her only match since October 1st was a couple of sets against Mississippi State back on October 27th. There's Wells out of the middle.
Impressive swing on that 3 ball, the gap between the middle and the outside. She attacked that ball wrist away straight into the floor. So quick off her feet, really quick arm swing has Wells.
Another service error for Alabama.
Yeah, it's kind of like they can't get out of the way of themselves. Or they get a really important and decisive side-out swing there by Wells and then go back and put a serve into the net.
Their 7th service error of the match puts Bulldogs 2 away here in set 2. Here's Casey Evans.
Gooch cleans that up pretty quickly. In the play I like to call the ice cream sundae of volleyball. An overpass right to the middle, and that's like the cherry on top, putting that ball straight down in front of the 3-meter line.
It's the best set you'll get in a match, right?
That's right. Typically there's no block. It's just like free money.
Off the hands of the block. Here's Evans. Staunton.
Great coverage by Bailey Cox. But Alabama's going to have a nice chance in transition here.
They'll go to Wells. She's denied. Gooch comes over to combine.
Gooch having a great end of that second set. A couple of really important road for them this season in conference play.
Yeah, they had a solid non-conference as well. They went 10-1 out of the gate, but they were rarely tested. And then once SEC play began, it was just a different story. They're still looking for that first win in conference play.
Well, I do think that that speaks to 2 things. Number 1, the strength of the SEC from top to bottom. But number 2, how important it is to really play some solid out-of-conference opponents. Because if the pace of play speeds up too much between what you get used to in out-of-conference and in-conference, you really can lose your confidence and momentum. And it can be quite disappointing.
There's that balance of scheduling for, you know, a young rebuilding team wanting to build up that confidence, but then, as you said, not necessarily being prepared for conference play if you don't play a tough enough non-conference.
Yeah, it is. It's so important. Those early season matches, seeing different looks, trying to play teams that are faster paced than you really does pay off in spades during conference play.
This is Wells. She tips it over the block. Flying in to play that is Cox. Evans from the back row. Can Bertucci get this over? No. To the point to Georgia.
Yeah, they kind of lost that ball in the middle of the rally. Bertucci's like, oh, there it is. Tried to make a play on it last minute, but couldn't quite get it there. But had it gone, you know, a foot further, Sophie Fisher would have been right there to put that ball down quickly.
Allison Barrett checked in with the Crimson Tide.
Bleeker has been a serving star today for Georgia. 4 aces.
Rashinda Reed going to her bench, subbing in Allison Barrett, another freshman from Rochester Hills, Michigan, trying to see if changing anything up might help and or getting some of her younger players an opportunity to get in to an SEC match.
Getting a 9th kill from Kendall Ray certainly helps. Puts Alabama on the board here in set 3. Here's Wells. Fisher with the touch. Barrett comes up to save that. Wells with hands sets up Ray. Kiefer pushes it out to Ray.
Point Georgia.
And a point to Georgia.
Yeah, just an errant swing that time by Kendall Ray, but Barrett coming in making a nice play on that ball. That tip on the from the right side. We'll have to look up how many times she's got to see action this year.
Here's Haugen. Just misses.
Point Alabama. Jordan Towns will check in for the Crimson Tide. Callie Kiefer to serve.
Here's the freshman setter, Callie Kiefer. 3rd on the team in aces. Serves Evans. Fisher.
Point Georgia.
I mean, it's just hard to stop. Alabama hasn't found an answer for Fisher's range and prowess over there, especially off of 1 foot behind the setter. Alabama's got an uphill climb right now. Try to find the momentum and the execution to stay in this third set.
I looked at Sounds.
Point, Alabama.
That attack is long. It's a 5-3 lead for Georgia. A couple substitutions for the Crimson Tide. Kaylee Palmer will check in. She'll play the front row, and
Now serving.
Lily Hopkins checks in as serve.
Alabama still has that really solid front line, 6'3" and above. Georgia's gonna have to hit high up over the block.
Evans fires one in.
Hey, you know, Evans doesn't quite have the size as Townsend Campbell, but you certainly wouldn't know it from that swing, right? Take a look at this. That's a well-formed block. Evans just goes high off the hands, lands in the back of the court.
Evans, an All-SEC player in 2022 and 2019.
Just shy of 6 feet at 5'11". So a bit undersized, but she certainly has the power. That time, Krista Blakely getting into the action from the right side. Another transfer.
And coming over from Eastern Michigan, she redshirted as a freshman, then played 3 seasons there. Still has eligibility left.
You know, I have not heard that she is staying, but she could be, now that she's gotten some time. They definitely won that spot on the right side, but Alabama definitely making Casey Evans pay that time.
Impressive block from Chase Campbell.
Check in the Crimson Tide. Now serving Richmond.
It's one thing that COVID year has really helped some of these players with, you know, finish a degree at one place and finish their career somewhere else and go ahead and earn a master's degree as well. What a great opportunity for advanced education.
Casey Evans, one of the players who took advantage of that extra year, and she's starting to heat up for Georgia.
Now serving. Casey Evans.
She'll go behind the line to serve. Has 7 kills now. Palmer. Evans from the pipe.
Yeah, we hadn't seen Evans from the back row yet this afternoon, but that was some heat from behind the 3-meter line, and Alabama's going to call a quick timeout.
Alabama's first charge timeout of the set.
Georgia opens up a 9. Great crowd on hand inside Stegeman Coliseum. And an ace coming out of the timeout.
Point, Georgia. That's save, Georgia.
Georgia seems to be really feeling it. Lots of smiles, relaxed play as they're up 5 here in set 3. We've seen them in these positions before. Just really important for them to keep their foot on the accelerator, take care of business.
The 30th ace of the season for Casey Evans. Wells says no.
Yeah, that ball was set into the tape, and I think Staunton thought that she could get it wrist away inside Aaliyah Wells' block, but Wells had a solid roof formed. Definitely made her pay.
Former Tennessee Gatorade Player of the Year way back in 2018. 5-year player for the Crimson Tide. Staunton.
She found it that time for sure. A nice swing after getting stuff blocked a time before. Been a little quiet since set 1 when she was really on fire, but had that seam. That time Wells just couldn't get out there to close, and Staunton threaded the needle.
Picks up her 9th kill. Away from double digits. Palmer responds for Alabama.
And that time Palmer hit the ball into the sharp cross. The wrist away swing. Nice angle.
Palmer coming off of a 6-kill match against Florida. She's got 4 today. Here's Barrent. 2 aces on the season for the freshman. Staunton goes line, hits one off of Barrent. Another opportunity, and she's dug out by Golson.
This ball's tight again. Staunton does a good job keeping it in play.
Ray off speed. Nicely done.
They had Brower and Cox on the case to handle that tip. Blakely caught it on the way back and falls for an Alabama kill. So Bama coming out of the timeout with a little more fire.
Solid play from the back line, too. Golson and Barrent on that last point. Fisher with a missile.
Yeah, you know you don't see Fisher hitting a quick ball right in front of the setter as much, but when she does, she's just as effective. Easily went around that Wells block. Picked up her 11th kill. Still hitting 450 on the afternoon. Leading all players in kills this afternoon.
A service error for Bleeker. That's her first of the day. Let's go along with 4 aces.
I think that's a pretty good ratio for Bleeker.
I think Coach Black will take that for sure.
Georgia at 6 aces on the day, 5 errors. That's where they want to be in the ledger, more aces to errors. Georgia been serving really well.
Wells with the dig. Kiefer pushes it out to Ray.
Nice swing by Ray. That time she went crossbody down the line. It's just a little more than Mallory Downing could handle. Nice long attack. High contact, went crossbody. Like to see that energy from the Crimson Tide.
It was the dig from Aaliyah Wells that gave her that opportunity.
That's such a great swing by Sophie Fisher. That ball was just thrown high into the middle. Fisher was really in front of it. She had to really arch her back and swing that ball from behind her head. She swung it at a more shallow trajectory so she could get hands and cleaned it up with a kill.
A whistle and a double is going to be called on Alabama. Five-point lead for the Bulldogs. It's the sophomore Haugen. Ray, she's blocked. It's Fisher, but it's wide.
Yeah, Fisher's like, no, that's no problem. That was a great set. I'll get the next one. No big deal. Really steady.
Callie Kiefer. Another service error for Alabama.
Just unfortunate for Alabama. I mean, obviously they need to take advantage of all of their scoring opportunities in this uphill climb to try to get back into the third set. Already down 0-2.
Fisher has 1 ace today. Towns.
Look at Alabama doing a nice job, in set 3, getting into a side-out rhythm and getting several different players into the offense, able to terminate the rally with first ball side outs. Seen several nice swings by Ray, nice swing by Towns.
And it's a connection that we're going to see for years. Is Kiefer, the setter, is a freshman. Towns is a freshman. We've seen Palmer in the front line. She's a freshman.
They definitely have a solid group of newcomers coming in and getting some experience from this season. And we look to Alabama next year. All these freshmen will have a year experience under their belt and will be really hungry to get more wins than they'll be able to pull out this season.
Here's another freshman, Lily Hopkins.
That ball was close, in or out. It looked like it was going to be way out, and it just barely got past that inline. I wondered if Rashinda Reed would even
Now serving.
throw out a challenge card, but she didn't make a move. So
Brower. Tight pass, a one-handed set from Kiefer. Gooch puts it away.
wow, that's such a great opportunity to run the ball in the middle off a transition. It was a great dig by Haugen. And it was a dime. Clara Brower in there so quickly, and Gooch did a great job getting out and back up in transition to hit that quick ball. Really, really well done.
Off the tape. Back on Alabama's side.
Krista Blakely was wanting that ball to come over, and
Missouri.
that's going to be a thriller for sure. Two teams both at some level on the bubble. Georgia really needing to take that match against Missouri in the home finale. So I'm sure that they would love the support of the Dogs out here.
Palmer on serve receive. They'll go to Campbell. Bulldogs get it back over. Campbell, the connection is there between Kiefer and Campbell on the gap.
Yeah, Georgia did a great scramble just to keep that ball in play, but really nicely done by Alabama, getting the easier ball in transition and converting for the point out of the middle. Campbell been a little more quiet this afternoon with only 4 kills.
These middles and Campbell and Wells, a great mentor in Coach Reed.
Absolutely. I mean, she played middle blocker at Georgia. At every place that she's coached along the way, she's focused her efforts on working with the middle blocking team of players, and she's doing more of the same here at Alabama, and she can't ask for a better player than Aaliyah Wells and, of course, Chase Campbell, too, both of whom are seniors.
5-point lead for the Bulldogs, 19-14. Here's Evans. So Schmur. Towns with a tip. Cox plays that. Brower sets from her knees. The attack is out of play.
It was a close one, but swung just wide. Nice dig that time by Bailey Cox. She's so quick to the front. I mean, she does a great job of springing forward to get those tips. Look at that attack crossbody by CC Gooch. Clara Brower went just behind her head on the quick. The block had started. It was staying home but hadn't moved over. Leah Wells didn't move over to take that crossbody shot.
Bulldogs first to 20 in set 3. They've opened up a 6-point lead, 21-15. Looking to sweep the Crimson side.
It sure appears that that is the trajectory of this set 3. But again, I do appreciate Alabama's fire throughout the match and the way that they've been trying to change things up and stay in the play point by point. And there again, they need a big swing. Who's going to get it for them other than Aaliyah Wells?
Leader for this team. She's their vocal leader.
Yeah, and Alabama has their best front row up now in Ray and Wells, so a really important service opportunity for the Tide right here.
Staunton. She's dug out by Golson. Evans tried a roll shot from the back row, misfired.
She forgot she had to roll it quite over the net. She's definitely, the finesse was a little too much that time for Casey Evans, but again, 1 point earned for the Crimson Tide. Barrett back to serve again.
Staunton goes line and gets the kill. That one's off of Barrett. Georgia's 3 points away. And Bleeker will check in to serve. 4 aces today, a career high. Ray, she's blocked. Another opportunity. This one off the hand of Fisher and down on Georgia's side.
Fisher didn't quite get the press that she needed with her shoulders over the net. She was pushed back off the ball. The ricochet went to Ray.
12th kill for Kendall Ray, leading the way for Alabama. Staunton with a bomb.
That was a really, really nice swing. I couldn't tell from my angle whether that ball was just hitting the seam or whether it ricocheted down, but that ball found the floor really quickly. Again, Coach Black has to be really excited about how Staunton is playing down the stretch.
11 kills for Staunton. Serve off the tape. Kiefer sets up Campbell. Oh, what a smart play from Casey Evans. She found the open spot.
She kind of did a 360 and then blocked the ball into the deep corner for the kill.
It's match point. Everyone on their feet here inside Stegman Coliseum. Service error. They have plenty of cushion here, leading 24-19. Georgia will try to win the match on serve receive.
Georgia with strong front line of Evans and Fisher. We'll see who gets the nod to try to finish this out.
It's Fisher. She closes out the match. Georgia sweeps Alabama.
चल के बा बंदे के ए भोला समिति से भमिया तोहार सिर्फ संडे के बुझो जी अब करे हमारे इंतजार दिसन संडे के सुन सारी रात होके कितनो दिन तो